Hey guys, it's me, Gino J, and I'm showing you a little tour of my studio. This is really, honestly, um, a brief tour because I've done this a couple of times, and I didn't want to go into detail or whatnot. So we're just going to do a brief little tour of my studio and give you guys exactly um, some background on how it got all started. So here we go. This is my studio. Brilliant, isn't it? Um, and I'm recording this actually with my Ambeos because I figured you can hear in stereo. And this would give you an idea of actually how it kind of sounds like in here. These Ambeos actually do pick up a lot of room noise too, and I figured that might be useful when recording this in stereo. So, and I'll show you why. So this is obviously, basically, curtains. These are the cloth curtains. They feel like stage curtains, but they're not. They're just regular shower curtains, and they're actually on shower rods. Up here, I've got a comforter, queen size comforter, bungee cord kind of holding it up a little bit. Back here, there's a full size comforter back there that's covering the back wall of the computer and whatnot. Uh, but basically, this goes all the way around. Um, and what's really cool about this is that it's all self contained. So let me move my chair out of the way here. What's really nice is that over here on this wall, the comforter, or I have the shower curtains that open up right here. And the reason why I did that was because I have all kinds of stuff back here as well. So I use an old box that, the organizers that you keep on your desk for different audio stuff, smaller stuff like batteries. In this one, lots of audio gear like your RCA, your auxiliary to 1/8 jack or 3.5 millimeter. Down here, some tacks. I got my iPad over there plugged in, a night light. Actually, it has those little scented night light thingies. Um, I know it's not mostly clean back here, but just some audio gear. I have back there some. Let me get out of the way. So back there, I actually have some mics. The boxes for the B1. Now, I have to show you guys something, and I haven't gotten rid of it, and maybe I should, but maybe I'll get you guys' opinion. Some longtime Phoebe people that might know from the past know what I'm pulling out. Maybe you do, maybe you don't. So this is an MLX microphone, and it's the Marshall MXL microphone. This was my first mic, and I'll show you how long it's been since I've used this thing. Look at that. That is just filthy. That's just pitiful. I gotta put a new windscreen on this thing because it's so bad. But that is my first microphone that I ever used, and I still keep it around. Possibly because really, it works great. I can't complain. And that mic actually does record in stereo mix. So yeah. So continuing the tour. Let me just put back here. Continuing the tour. Also down here, my old net case that I had, my old NAS. I haven't used it in a while because really it's kind of obsolete at this point. Laptop bag. Down here you can see I have those drawers. And inside these drawers, I organize all of my larger cables. So they're really handy to have. And all this is hidden behind the curtains, and it actually dampens the sound in here. But there's two of them. In that one I have USB cables, Ethernet cables, power cords. In this one, it's the larger XLR cables and whatnot. So lots of different stuff I keep in all 6 of those drawers. And then, of course, down here on this side, it's some containers that I more or less kept in here for Ashley. But yeah. So let me close these, and we'll come around my trash can and show you this end. So when I first put this desk in here, I was a little surprised it actually fit. So literally set this up, and it took me a day to put it together and whatnot. Slowly started putting the walls up and whatnot, and really honestly got to tell you, it came out really great. So in case you were wondering, I'm using the Zoom text. That's why you see the large clock there. So we have 2 monitors plugged in, and they're Mackie C4s, I think, if I can remember correctly. They're plugged into this thing. It's a Behringer UMC 1820. And really cool thing about this is that it splits all of your sound cards into separate devices. So it sends it and shows up in Windows as separate sound cards. So as you can see right here, this is channel 1 and 2 not being used. Back here I have 3 and 4, which is the Yamaha MG12XU, and I'll come back to that in a second. 5 and 6 is a splitter. So this basically right here is for another mic. And the reason why I have a splitter is because if you plugged into channel 1 and 2, for example, this is left and this is right. Big problem. So when you plug in a mic, you can't center it, and that's a problem. Because this thing was this was designed more or less for recording in left and right channels. So that's what I have plugged into this. I also have back here right here plugged out into the monitors, and then I've got USB plugged in back there, obviously, and I've got the power adapter obviously plugged in. Now, which in case you were wondering here, I've got 2 monitors. I don't use them because I usually monitor through this. So what I have done here, and this is why you see this right here, which is a 1/4-inch jack, plugged in here through monitor 2, and this sends back to the Yamaha. Now this sends down here. I have main out, and they send to channels 3 and 4. So there is a closed loop, and if I'm not careful, sometimes I can cause reverb on this thing, and it's not pretty. But this is useful because if you can't listen to Zoom text. For example, Zoom text is on this device, the speech output, or NVDA, or JAWS, or something like that. It is on this device. And there's a reason for it. I don't want it to come out in a broadcast, for example, so it basically is not on this device. So that's why I send back, because if I'm wearing these headphones, which are currently plugged into this, I can send it through channels 7 and 8 on the board. And that's where I have the UMC 1820 here send back to the Yamaha MG12XU. So, plain and simple, we've got the Behringer UMC 1820. The outputs are plugged into the monitors, but I also have two monitors here for playback. One is being used as a send back to the board here, and this is plugged into channel 3 and 4 on the Behringer UMC 1820. And this board here is the Yamaha MG12XU. Now, on channel 1, I have my Behringer B1 up there, which is a decent microphone. I've used it for quite a few years. It's my second microphone I really got. Originally I had it plugged into my Mackie board. Then on channel 2 here, I have the Audio-Technica BPHS1 headset here. And this is XLR, and it is also 1/4 inch. So you can use the 1/4 inch to listen, and then the XLR plugs into channel 2, and that microphone, folks, is really decent. They're about $200. I wouldn't say they're studio recording quality. In other words, I wouldn't do a lot of my recordings, professional recordings for GBJ imaging with these things, although I have and cleaned it up, because they are pretty decent. But I definitely use them for communication. On channel 5 and 6, I have plugged in my regular onboard audio for my Realtek sound card from the computer as an input device, and that's kind of handy, just as a spare output device. Channel 7 and 8, the sends from the UMC 1820. 9 and 10 is the AUG send, and returns. Basically, I have the red and white cables connected to this little box down here underneath my hard drive. And that right there plugs into the A-bomb, and I can switch. If I had multiple devices, I can switch different devices on 9 and 10 on the board. And then 11 and 12 is basically FX, so that sends back, and then the next one here is return, or group rather, which I don't ever really honestly use. And I mean, this board is really kind of useful. I can't complain. Also back here you can see that I have my laptop from Lighthouse, a mechanical keyboard that actually lights up. Isn't that cool? So yeah, it actually lights up. Let's see if I can show you here. Turn out the light here, and let's see how, can we see the light? No, we can't. I'm too blind. Oh, there you go. See? It's a mechanical keyboard. I have it set up so when you press, the light comes on. This is why I also kind of love this board, is that I don't know if you can see these, but these are basically, I can't see them really well with the light on. But as you can see, these lights up here, these big square lights, indicate whether or not the channel is sending. So in other words, it sends out both to USB and main out. And then you've got these buttons. Now I'll turn the lights off, or back on rather. These buttons down here actually control the monitor, what you hear in your headphones. It doesn't necessarily get sent, but it's what you hear in your headphones. So really useful. So technically speaking, I could do a radio show without this and just this, but I wanted to be really, I wanted to go the extra mile. And yeah, so can't really complain about the setup here. All of this is plugged in. Now, what's really cool, I mentioned that this is plugged in through main outs. It's just 1/4-inch jacks, but check this out. So sometimes I actually use my Yamaha MG12XU on Clubhouse, and the way I do that is this is plugged in by USB, and this is that USB, and it's a camera adapter kit basically, and I can plug in my charger for my phone as well, so I can charge my phone and send as well to the lightning adapter. Right now it's being occupied with these Ambeos, but it's still really cool. So I have 2 main outs, and what's nice is I can leave that plugged in because this is permanently plugged in through the UMC 1820, the Behringer UMC 1820. I can actually send audio from this back to this and then send it on Clubhouse. So this isn't even plugged in, obviously, but because it's plugged into the Yamaha MG12XU, I can send it through channels 7 and 8 on the board, and there you go. You've got great sound from another audio device that you can send into Clubhouse or whatever app I'm using. Also back there you can see I got headphones for work up there. These are just cheap headphones. Like I said, my Behringer B1. This is really what I use to record with. Love this mic. It's got some great sound. Some people have mentioned that it has a bit of a bassier sound, and this is true, but I honestly gotta tell you guys, with a little bit of EQ, you can adjust that and it doesn't sound so bad, in my opinion. So, can't really complain. And then of course, I've got some drawers down here, more audio gear and whatnot, and I'd continue this tour, but really there's not much more to show. On my next audio tour that I'm going to do, I'm actually going to be recording with this, which is my webcam. I don't know if you can see it back there or not, but it's my webcam. And this webcam is actually set up with the interface here, all the audio interface. So I can send audio back into, and you guys can get an idea of what things sound like. And by the way, if you're wondering, I only have one keyboard and mouse. And this KVM switch right here is for work. So I can utilize the one monitor, keyboard, and mouse for both work and play. And which is kind of handy because, obviously I don't have to necessarily be working. So, but there you go, folks. That is the tour of the studio. I hope you enjoyed it. I didn't have time to kind of honestly show you what it sounds like, but let me just close the door here so you guys can get an idea of the studio in its full, beautiful sound. And again, like I said, it is my little recording studio here at I guess I call this GBJ Studios. I don't know. I can't really honestly think of a really good name for the studio. It's not the most fancy schmancy studio in the world, but really, to be honest with you, it's a comforting place for me to do my show, and that's why I like it. So I am out of here, folks, because you know it's over 20 minutes at this point, and this would be ridiculously long. So I hope you all enjoyed this recording studio tour, and this might wind up going up as my first audio boo slash audio mo day one, because yesterday I discovered that it is the month of June is audio mo, and I do remember participating years ago, and I kind of want to do this again. So this, if you see this up on audio mode, that's why I'm using these Ambeos. So this way, if people are listening to this, at least they are hearing this in stereo. Uh, I have no idea what I'm going to do for other audio modes down the road, but we'll figure it all out. And there's going to be 30 of them, so I have to be diligent and do these every day. So that's what I plan to do. But I hope you all enjoyed it, and hope you all enjoyed the stereo tour, because I was debating to not even do this at all, but then I thought, what would the stereo tour be without a little bit of cowbell? I am out of here. I hope you all enjoyed this trip down my studio and whatnot, and I will talk to you all soon. Bye bye.